Ladies and gentlemen, fellow veterans, welcome to Veterans Network. I am your host, Jamie Kennedy, co-founder of Veterans Network. We would like to give a quick shout out to My Style Embroidery, who are a veteran-owned business listed in our free online business directory. They offer embroidery and vinyl printing on any garment, mugs and more. They ensure that everything is taken into consideration for every order so that the finished product is exactly what is asked for. Being open and honest about all orders is where they are different from other companies. In this podcast, we speak with fellow veteran James Garbutt, who has always wanted to be his own boss and has now founded his own business in selling and renting watches online. Something that is becoming more and more common now is servicemen and women establishing their own business while still serving in the armed forces. And in this case, James actually decided to rule out his resettlement and instead built the foundations for his business. We also discuss business plan versus no business plan. Just diving straight into it at the deep end and starting your own business. Let's give James a call and talk about his veteran-owned business, Veteran James Watches.
Yeah, buddy.
James Garbutt, how are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, mate. Just give us a little bit on a bit of your background and what it is you're currently doing.
So I was serving in the Army for 6 years. I did. I left the army in September this year, September 30th actually. Before that, in March of this year, I started a business called Veteran James Watches. So that was the little premise that I thought, I'm going to leave the army. What can I do to keep myself busy? I really like watches, so I thought I'd go into the watch game. At the moment, I'm currently funding the startup whilst moonlighting, so it's quite a busy period working to fund another business. So it's going well. I'm enjoying it.
Did you start building this business whilst you were still serving, or did you start it when you left the armed forces?
No. So I started it whilst I was serving. I actually volunteered for guard shifts. That's how I got the time to do it. I was doing month-hour guard shifts, were month rotas, 4 days on, 4 days off, 4-day nights, that sort of thing. So I was using that time just to sit in the guard room with my laptop and build it from the ground up, really. Started with the website on Shopify, which I did myself. I built my own website. Realised after a while that the website was possibly not the most professional looking website, so since then we've invested and gone over to WooCommerce. It looks a lot better now, works a lot better as well. So I've got my own web team, which we run that now. So the whole idea and the mechanics of it were built up by me, and they've just kind of evolved into a more professional look over time.
Did you find if there was any complications or challenges starting a business while serving? Because it seems to be a common area now.
Yeah, I've noticed there's quite a few blokes doing it actually. To be honest with you, I found it easier in the military than out of it. I will admit that. I found there was a lot more time whilst you were serving, especially you've got Wednesday afternoons, you've got late starts on Mondays, sort of things like that. But if you really want to do it, then obstacles are always going to be there, but it's just how you overcome them.
Yeah, exactly. So what inspired you to start a business based around selling watches?
So the way it started was I always wanted to start a business. I've always wanted to be my own boss. So I've never really wanted to continue in the rat race, as it were, and work for someone else. And so I thought I'd start my own business. I've always liked watches, and I found a sort of a gateway into buying watches through an auction site. So I bought my first 10 watches off an auction site, sold them, which then funded a little bit more. And then I thought, well, originally it was just going to be eBay. No website, it was just going to be selling over eBay, just a little bit of money on the side. Then I realised that I can actually start a website here and sort of get the word out, like, make a little bit more sales, and see where it goes from there. And actually, it's impressed myself, to be honest with you, how well it's doing. So as I say, we updated the website. We got a web team involved, and we are actually about to sort of change away from just selling watches. We're going to go into watch rental, which is a new beta scheme that we're going to be running from January.
Watch rental? I've never heard of renting watches before.
Yeah, it's a strange concept. There's no one currently in the UK that does this. There's a company in America called 11 James. I suppose quite a similar name. They basically have a price plan, which will be similar to ours. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the designer watches. So we'll offer a range of designer watches. You pick which one you want. You pay £25 to £30 a month, depending on the watch. Every 3 months, that watch will change. So you choose how long you want this plan to run for: 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. Every 3 months, you get a new watch. There's no costs for damage, unless you wrote the watch off. Then anything like scratches or link repairs, we'll cover.
What an interesting concept. So basically, a similar sort of concept is like phone contracts, but with watches.
Similar. Well, that's the way the world seems to be going at the moment, and no one's quite interested in holding something for a long time. I mean, if you look at cars these days, nobody really buys a car outright. Everyone takes it out on lease or on finance. Probably take it out on a 5-year finance and you're done 2.5 years into it. Everyone's swapping, getting new ones.
I've never even considered that concept. That's really interesting.
So once we've built enough of a foundation with designer watches, we are going to start looking into the more high-end watches: Rolexes, Tags, Omegas, that sort of area. So
you're going to directly network with these high-end brands and work with them, do you reckon?
If possible, yeah. I'm always open to discussions.
Wow, that's really ambitious, and that actually is, well, my hat's off to you. That's a really good idea. Good idea.
I can't take credit all myself, but it is an excellent idea. It's a lot of groundwork, to be honest. We've been planning this for months now. I can't even remember. And we're finally, once we get Christmas and New Year out of the way, we're going to select a few special people who are going to be our testers. They're going to run the test for us for 3 months, and if it works, which we've thought about it, and there's nothing really that can stop it from working. If it does work, then we can just expand and move on.
Amazing. So, did you have to formulate a business plan, or did you just dive into it?
I personally just dove into it. Everyone that I've sort of got in my circle who have businesses or know of businesses always say, "Oh, James, you need a business plan. You need to sit down and write down what you want to do." And it's not really who I am. I sort of throw myself in the deep end and then kind of stand back and look at what I've just done and go, "Oh, shit, how can I sort this out?"
But it's paying off, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how I work. Everyone's different. I know people that will spend 6 months planning before they even go into any sort of test phase or make anything happen. Whereas I'll just sort of make it happen, and then once I've done something, come up with a foundation, I'll step back and go, right, this is what I've made. How can I tweak that to get to where I want to be?
I agree. I'm very much like you, I think, where like you say, it's not for everybody, but I see it as in, you might spend 6 months planning a business, and then it will come to nothing. But I actually enjoy watching it grow and develop and tweaking here along the way as you go.
Exactly. It's the same as me. And
why spend? I mean, this is only from my personal opinion, but why spend 6 months planning when that could have been 6 months developing?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of like to. I have to see things changing quite regularly. If I sit around for a long period of time and nothing happens, I will start to sort of lose interest. I need to see changes and updates and movement.
So what are you going to use to get this off the ground? I take it you're going to use like social media like Facebook, Instagram, or just some...
Yeah, so we have Facebook and Instagram. And obviously we'll have other affiliates in their social media accounts as well. Obviously, I won't mention them on here, but you'll know a few of them. And we will be running primarily. I think we're going to try and target the armed forces sort of network. Obviously, with my background and network of friends, that's probably the largest area that I can, kind of get into. It's easier for me to target that area than it is to go into another part of the world.
Because you've already got a strong foothold.
On the armed forces first.
Yeah, because sorry, I spoke over you there. Because you've got like a strong foothold there, I suppose, already. So
yeah, exactly. Especially with being in the army as well. I mean, we changed units every 3 year. So the friends that I used to have at one unit are now spread and they're at 10 different units. So I've now got a point of contact at 10 different units around the UK.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, like I said, my hat's off to you. I wish I thought of it.
Yeah, well, it's not there yet, but hopefully there's. I mean, the company in America is doing really stupidly well. They started in 2013, and I think he's now nearly up to $8 million or something like that. So if the concept works, I've just got to put it into practice in the UK.
So you're quite fortunate that there's already an existing company that's doing it in America, because you've got something that you can.
Allow me to sort of look at what he's doing, how he's doing it, and the way he is doing it, especially when it comes to the legality of it, the legal side.
Yeah.
I can go onto his website and just click on the contracts and say, this is how he's doing that.
And then the other best thing about that is that it's not really being done in the UK yet. So you potentially could be the first one breaching through that door.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There are 2 companies that I have spotted in the UK that have a website. But I've been checking regularly, and the websites haven't moved. They're constantly coming soon. When you click on it, it'll just say coming soon. So I don't know whether they have a good, foothold or as many contacts as I do. Because I started off obviously retailing watches first. I don't know whether they've just jumped straight into the watch rental. I'm not sure, but I personally think I'm sort of ahead of the curve when it comes to that.
So potentially a race to space, so to speak.
Yeah, it is. There's a few companies sort of catching on now, catching the wind, and trying to beat us. But I think we're ahead of them. Awesome.
So, what have you found most challenging about setting up a business?
Me personally, I mean, it really is stressful. At first, when I first started, I thought the most stressful part was setting the business up, so through the solicitors and building the website, and that was stressful. And then I got all that sorted, and I sat down, and I was like, right, now I can move forward and start making sales, start pushing advertisements out, and that was the most stressful part. That is absolutely non-stop. You think people that work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and they get in and they relax on the night time. It doesn't happen when you have an e-commerce shop or you run your own business. You'll know yourself. You get in and you've got emails to respond to, or you've got to then plan your next day's adverts. And the most stressful part for me that I found was running it by myself. Whereas you look at other businesses that have a team of directors, it is literally just me at the moment, so it is quite stressful. But I mean, it's happened. It's happened. So
yeah, there's 24 hours in a day, isn't there? So
yeah, and you need every single one of them.
Yeah. Where do you see this business going now? So obviously you're going to rent out. The idea is that you're going to rent out watches on a sort of like a finance sort of side, or.
Well, it's not. So the way it will work is you can still buy the watch. So the website at the moment still offers watches to buy. But
Okay.
What's going to happen is there'll be sort of a members only area, which will allow you more access to the website. So what we're going to roll out is Veteran James Prestige, which will be the sort of members only area. You subscribe to that, and then when you click on the watch, instead of it just saying add to cart, it'll also have a sort of a rent option next to it that you can click on. So if, say for example, you've rented out a Tissot watch for 3 months, and you've got 2.5 months into this, and you think this is a watch, I really like this, I don't want to give it back to them. I personally think this is my watch. You just simply would give us a ring, and the money that you've already paid for the rental will just come off the cost of the watch. You just pay the difference, and the watch is then yours.
Brilliant.
So there's plenty more aspects. I mean, there'll be plenty of incentives as well. There'll be reward schemes which will be coming out. I mean, the opportunities are endless, really, with this sort of idea. It's trying to give people the value for their money.
as a veteran, so someone that's recently left the armed forces, going straight into your own business, how's that been in the respect to the transition from the armed forces to Civvy Street? Do you feel that you could have gone other routes? Obviously, you could have gone like down a whole resettlement scheme and gone straight into like a career like electrician, carpenter, plumber. But you've had the initiative to, as part of your resettlement, I suppose, you've sort of done your own resettlement. So you've built your foundations for your own business. You've left the armed forces and gone straight into your own business. I know you're moonlighting at the moment, but your resettlement was your business startup.
Yeah, it was. I actually, I didn't do any resettlement, to be honest. I was that confident that this is going to work and this is my future that I took a job as quick as I could using the skills that I had just to get early release. I then got my early release from the army, forfeited all my resettlement, all my leave days, and just piled everything into this startup, to be honest with you. So the transition, there wasn't really much of a transition, to be honest, because whilst I was in the army, like I say, I was volunteering for any guard shift coming. I was only doing 2 IC, so I was sat behind the desk anyway. But I was volunteering, so it was all I could get, just so I could work on my laptop and work at this and work at that, make phone calls, emails, build my network, create more contacts. So when I left the army, I was still doing that. The only difference was I wasn't shaving every morning, really, or putting a uniform on.
That's incredible. A really good way to go about it. And I hope it works out for you. And I'm sure it will, because it sounds like it's a massive gap in the market. And it sounds like you've definitely got the vision and the ambition to do it. So,
well, when I spoke to a mentor the other day, I was a bit, you sort of get like a foggy head now and then when you're creating a startup, and you sort of lose track of where you are, what you've done, where you're up to, that sort of thing. And then he said to us on the phone, like, this is what we need to do. This is where we're going. All you need to do is A, B, C. And when I sat back and looked at it, I was like, actually, yeah, we've done most of the groundwork now. We just need to prove the concept. So we've got everything in place. We just need to make sure this concept works and that people are willing to pay that price.
Where can we find your shop? Have you got a website up and running now, or?
Yeah, the website's up. So if you just go to www.vincentjameswatches.co.uk, there's plenty of watches on there at the moment. We've actually just got a new range of pocket watches on there, which is quite interesting. There's a fair bit of interest on there, especially the Thorn and Thistle one for obviously St Andrew's Day.
Excellent. And you're on social media at the moment. You're on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yes, so just Vincent James Watches for both of them, and we should be the top result.
Brilliant, James. I can only wish you the very best of luck for it, which I'm sure you don't need, because it sounds like the whole concept is going to be a huge idea, and it sounds like it could be a massive success. So, very good luck to you.
Right, yeah. Thank you very much. Cheers, Jamie.
That was James Garbutt, founder of Vincent James Watches, and you can find him on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to check out his website, vincentjameswatches.co.uk. What we discussed here isn't gospel, about skipping your resettlement to start a business, but it certainly is an option if you have a business idea and you're confident that idea will succeed. Now, every individual is different, and every alternative process is different for that individual. I personally chinned off resettlement, and I've had an uphill battle ever since leaving the armed forces. I can't say whether or not resettlement would have given me a better chance in Civvy Street or not, but what I can say is James had a solid plan in his head, and he committed all of his time and energy towards that plan. And as a result, he has founded Vincent James Watches, which I'm confident to say has a huge potential to succeed. This has been a Veterans Network podcast, and I've been your host, Jamie Kennedy, co-founder of Veterans Network. If you have a veteran-owned business, then please feel free to list your business in our free online business directory. It's completely free and we expect nothing in return. Visit www.veteransnetwork.co.uk, where veterans support veterans.